So good afternoon. I'm going to be talking to you today about enteric infections and specifically enteric infections in India. Now I don't know how many of you have never had diarrhea, but if there are any among you, then you are very lucky people, because that is not common. Okay. So what I'm going to do today is essentially tell you about infectious diarrheas. There are a lot of diarrheas that you get that are not infectious diseases. For example, you know that if you take some antibiotics or you take some blood pressure medicine, one of the side effects is diarrhea. So not every diarrhea is infectious, but some of them are. And what I'm going to tell you about is infectious diarrheas, what the patterns look like. So next time you can say, oh, I know the difference between a bacterial and a viral diarrhea. And then I'm going to tell you a little bit about where I've worked and tell you a couple of stories of things that we have done. You've heard that I work on rotavirus and rotavirus vaccines. I'm actually not going to tell you about that in this presentation, but I hope you will find questions that you can ask me about that. Okay? So if you look at an overview of infectious diarrhea, this is a picture of the Victoria Falls. And if you look at Victoria Falls, the amount of diarrhea there is in the world in an entire day is the amount of water that goes over Victoria Falls in 1 minute. Okay? It's a lot of water and it's a lot of diarrhea. It's about 200 million people at any given time having diarrhea. Okay? So large volume, large problem. And if you look at, to most people diarrhea is an inconvenience. You can't go to work, you're a little uncomfortable, you need to keep running to the bathroom every so often. But unfortunately what happens is when you have children, when you're losing that much water, children become dehydrated and they die if you can't get rehydration to them quickly enough. So even though we have done a brilliant job with oral rehydration solution, with intravenous rehydration by having facilities available, we have decreased diarrhea mortality quite considerably, but still there are kids that die of diarrhea all around the world. And the places where you have the most children die, as you can see on this map, are in India and in sub-Saharan Africa. So really these are where we need to pay attention to diarrheal disease much more